I'm doing this, yeah, I'm sorry. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I was asked by Ian's family to say a few words about Ian's early days to present. Just by looking around this room, I can see how much Ian was loved. I will speak slowly for those of you who cannot keep up the London accent. Brick, razor, whippet, blade. These are just some of the names that the lads called Ian. If I could start by saying how I met Brett over 45 years ago. I was 15 years of age and worked then at Woman's Own magazine as a trainee photographer. After work, I used to go to a local school in the evenings and play table tennis 4 or 5 times a week. I thought I was good, you know, the up-and-coming Forrest Gump, bang, bang, bang. Until I saw these 3 lads walk in, and I thought, they look a bit out of place here. I walked over and said hello. The lads were Gary Stanley, Ian Britton, and Gary Locke. I asked if they'd like to challenge me to a game of table tennis. Briggs put his hand up and said yes, and that was that. He beat me so easily, I didn't know what to do. Everybody just stood there looking at me going, ha ha, he's got beat at last. After losing 3 games in break-up succession, I thought it was time to find out who these guys were. I knew a lot of people in my area. I had never seen these guys before. After a while, we got talking about what we did for a living. I said very proudly, I was a training photographer at one of the biggest magazines in the UK. Then the bombshell. They said they played for Chelsea. I stood completely stunned. I've been watching Chelsea as far back as I can remember. They said they played for Chelsea Juniors in the South Eastern Counties League. I said, yeah, right. Stanners lived around the corner to me and said, come and watch us play tomorrow. We are playing Millwall. Meet us at the station at 9:30. The next morning I thought, am I really going to go to the station? Probably made a look a bit of an idiot here. The lads turned up in their CFC blazers, little bag saying, Chelsea FC player. Oh my God, oh my face. If they had played for any other club, I might have stayed in bed. When we got to CFC, Stanners asked the then youth team manager if I could get on the coach and watch the game. He agreed, and the rest, they say, is history. In the next 46 years of my life, they became my best friends, brothers, and a great part of my life. We went everywhere together. They introduced me to their teammates, and I can see there are quite a few of them here today. Best bunch of lads you could possibly ever meet. I can remember the days when Brits and Stanley used to come to my house for a bacon sarnie cooked by my mum. They would turn up in their 1275 GT Minis. Stanners, bless him, actually had shag pile carpet in his car. And they both had glove compartments. And in these glove compartments contained hairbrush, mirror, and aftershave. These were a must for any professional footballer in those days. I remember they had a lot of hair between them back then. We used to go to the Lord Palmerston near the ground, McCorber's Wine Bar in Putney. These became our drinking holes for many years. We had fancy dress parties, etc., etc. I remember one such party. Brits turned up to David Crockett. I still have the pictures. He just looked amazing. For many years we partied together. Britt and Gary Locke were inseparable, as were me and Stanners. I remember during most of the home games, my job was to read through Gary Stanley's fan mail. And yes, lots of invites now for football's prettiest player. And find out which parties we were going to go to that night. Mostly, of course, female 18th to 21st birthday parties. We go from one party to another until it got light, and they said, time to go home now, boys. When Britt finished his time at Chelsea, we still kept in touch on a regular basis. Stanners went off to the States for a year and back to Everton. He gave me a year to detox. About 15 years ago, I went to an old boys game with Gary Stanley. I met the ex-Chelsea players who I hadn't seen for ages. After that game, I thought, how good would this be to do on a regular basis? Gary Chivers was to be the player manager, and I the manager. We had a website where teams from all over the South East would contact me, and we'd arrange for about 15 players to come along, play them, great times, footy, a pint, and a few expenses. I would always ring Britt, and he was always the first to say yes. He loved these games. He loved the lads, and he loved the fans. They could finally meet their idols, pictures, autographs, without being chased off by the security. Well, it was time then for Chelsea Old Boys to take on Europe. Barcelona, Germany, Jersey, Dubai. I can remember the first game in Europe. I was standing at the check-in, and all the lads gave me their passports. And I said, what are these for? I said, you check us in. I went, no, the Premiership days are, and your football days are over. You check yourselves in. Our first game was against Barcelona. Their players just looked like they'd retired the day before. They scored so many goals so quickly, the scoreboard broke down. He got to about 13, and he just collapsed. Oh well, we said, let's go down to the bar and discuss our next game. I don't think we ever won a game in Europe, but we certainly drank and partied the most. I used to play at left back for the last 15 minutes because David Stride needed a rest or a beer. I can remember one game that I organised against West Ham, the team of 86, Tony Cottee, Frank McAvenny, etc. I came on the usual last 15 minutes, and Britt said, Westy, this West Ham team want to beat us badly. Oh, he said, every time we get the ball, just give it to a Chelsea player. Right, okay. Well, that was that. That ship sailed. I passed the ball short. Tony Cottee grabbed it off me, went behind me and scored. Someone in the Chelsea Old Boys shouted out, Westy, we playing blue. But Britt came up to me, big smile on his face, and said, Westy, you do take great pictures though. I think he was hinting at something there. Chelsea Old Boys played lots of games, and it's good to see the likes of Ray and Graham Lawrence, Gary Stanley, Tommy Langley, Clive Walker, David Stride, Paul Canville, and Steve Perkins. We had some great times on those meetups. I remember one game at Petersfield when Ray Lewington turned up. After 10 minutes he said to me, Westy, get Stanners off, he's an absolute nightmare. So I shouted across, Stanners, come off for 5 minutes, because we had rolled on and rolled on. He went, I'm not coming off. So I said to Britt, would you like to kindly leave the field 5 minutes to get somebody else to go in? I'm not coming off. So I remember putting on 2 extra players. The referee didn't count, he just went, yeah, fine, carry on. So 10 minutes to go, Ray Lewington said to me, Westy, you're going to get caught. Take 2 of them off. I walked onto the pitch, into the referee, and said, well, give me a minute. He said, no, carry on. I said to Bricks and Stammers, please come off for 5 minutes. Nothing. Chelsea were having a 100-year-old centenary celebration in central London. There was an area where only ex-Chelsea players and present players were allowed. I arrived with Britt and was told that my ticket would not allow me into this area. I said, Britt, don't worry about me. I'll see you afterwards and we'll have a drink. No, he said, not me. He said, he rallied round and got a few of the ex-players and said, if Westy doesn't come in here, I'm not coming in. They reluctantly let me stay in that area. On the way back on the coach, I stayed in the same room with Ian Britton that night. I left him in the morning about 9:30 to go home. I got home and my mobile phone rang. It was Britt saying that I'd taken his shoes. I said, what? I said, I'm a size 9, and yours come from Mothercare. How can I wear your shoes? He rolled up to my house an hour later and found them under the bed. Ladies and gentlemen, I have 1,000 stories and pictures of my time with the Chelsea players, and of course, Bricks and Stanners. It was a privilege, honour, to have known the wee man. I know how much I'll miss his cheeky grin and a smile, his white Stamford Bridge. God bless you. You have been taken away from our wonderful family and friends far too early. I will miss you. I had Gary Locke now lives in New Zealand. And when I told Gary about Ian, he was just devastated. And he said, can I send something if you could read it out for me? I've not stopped laughing at this, and I will laugh through it. So basically, Gary Locke said, our paths crossed when we both was 15. We both signed as apprentices for Chelsea. We lived in digs together with Joan and Dave Sturgeon, who treated us like their own sons. Over the coming years, our dreams came true when we both signed professional with the Blues and made it into the first team. This is where a slight difference of opinion started. Getting ready for the matches has always caused problems. We both used Argo, whose hairspray and hairdryer we were going to use first. We had long mullets in them days. Ian's hair was a cross between Ian the Sharples and the Jackson 5. You are using too much hairspray. You should buy the next can. How's my hair look? Not as good as mine. All they did was talk about their hair. The following few seasons, we developed a great combination on the field and an understanding of each other's game that came naturally to us. The memory that will always remain with me is when we played away at Luton Town. All the players were in the dressing room. Before the game, who walked in? The legendary Eric Morecambe, who I believe was the chairman or the owner of Luton Town. Ian was standing in the corner wearing a full-length leather trench coat. Eric looked over, grabbed the arm of his glasses and said, "Are you standing up?" This is the one. I've always wanted a long, tall, leather wallet. Well, Ian, we certainly had some great times together, which won't be forgotten. Even though we have not, this is from Gary's film, even though we have lived on opposite sides of the world for the last 30 years, we always kept a special bond. All our love to Eileen, family and friends, Gary and Lynn. And the very last one, this is from Ken Chiletto, who now lives in Malaysia. And it says, "Mark, Ian was a special person to us all at Chelsea. Never down, never moaning. Every player at Chelsea was his friend. No one was low when he was around. We were not allowed to be. While getting ready for training, all the players in the changing room, the quietness stopped and someone would say, 'Wake up lads, Chris is coming in.' And true, everything changed. How can you be low when you have a person like that in your company? He was always bubbling and enthusiastic. It rubs off on you and the team. Ian was a great, honest player, the like of which we will never see again. I was lucky to have worked with the man, and Mark, you were luckier to be a close friend of his. As my father once said to me, you pick your friends, not relatives. And Mark, you picked the true diamond.